I got the invitation to go on this Armed Lutheran radio show, though. You know this guy? Have you seen this? There's two things that I would like to say that make me feel safe. Number one, the fact that there is a radio show called the Armed Lutheran Podcast somewhere in the world. That makes me feel safe.
Bringing you law, gospel, and guns. This is Armed Lutheran Radio.
Hey folks, welcome to another episode of Armed Lutheran Radio, a show about guns, hunting, competitive shooting, the natural right of self-defense, and what God's Word says about the issues surrounding gun rights and gun ownership. I'm your host, Lloyd Bailey, the Armed Lutheran, and this is episode number 451. Thank you all so much for making Armed Lutheran Radio a part of your week again this week. I should say, as I say again this week, I would like to begin by apologizing for there being no show the last 2 weeks. And I'm trying to get back up to snuff, up to speed. Things are still crazy at work with two customers whose projects are competing to see which can go live at the same time or which can go first. That are both jockeying for the same weekends and the same weeks. And it's a madhouse. So my apologies, but wasn't able to get a show put together the last couple of weeks. I'm going to be releasing this episode as a kind of a midweek to make up for the last one, at least. Would like to say a big thank you to all of the members of the Reformation Gun Club who make this show possible. Good folks like Paul and Derek and Mark and Carl, Curtis and Daryl and Timothy, who have most recently contributed and renewed their memberships or become new members. Glad to have those of you who are new among us. And I am so thankful for all of the members of the Reformation Gun Club who help make this show possible. Folks, we are listener funded. We don't have any advertising. We don't have any sponsors. That means that we rely on these good people and many more to help pay the bills and keep the lights on and make this thing keep rolling forward. And so those contributions are incredibly important to us and greatly appreciated. So if you value what we do, if you enjoy what we do, you'd like to see it continue, I'd like to support what we do, please consider joining the Reformation Gun Club. It is a donation, an annual donation based on or run through GiveSendGo, which is a Christian-based crowdfunding site. We have transitioned over the years through many different payment providers, and all of them have their pluses and minuses. Most of them, the big minus is the amount of money that they charge to process your payments, but also the fact that some of them do tend to engage in some form of viewpoint discrimination, and so GiveSendGo does not do that, and we greatly appreciate that. So go to reformationgunclub.com or armedlutheran.us/gun club, or just go to the website, look for the link in the menu, and sign up today. Any amount that you, whatever the Spirit moves you to provide is greatly appreciated. And come and join us for our next online hangout in July as we get back to our monthly online hangouts. Okay, today, this episode is going to be kind of a short one, but it is an update on what's coming in the future. First off, I've got more, putting together some more episodes, working through the book Duty to Defend. We did recently, as I reach back to grab my copy, we've done about 16 weeks worth of episodes based on chapters from the book. And if you would like to grab a copy and have your own copy to read along as you listen to those episodes, then please visit the website and check out the books in the Armed Lutheran shop. You can get there are still signed copies available. There's a handful, maybe less than a dozen signed copies still available. If you would like to get one for less than the price that you would pay on Amazon, or if you would prefer to get it a little faster and not get the signed copy, you can get it at Amazon. armedlutheran.us/duty will take you to Amazon. armedlutheran.us/books will take you to the bookshop at armedlutheran.us, where you can get a signed copy, signed by yours truly and mailed out by yours truly. Lots of, if you don't know what the book is, it is a fantastic collection of articles about gun rights from a biblical perspective, kind of answering the misuse of scripture in the gun rights debate. And it is, there's, I think, 20 Lutheran pastors, ordained Lutheran pastors from across the country who have contributed to this book. It was released in 2022. It is a fantastic book, and I can't take a whole lot of credit for it. I helped organize it and edit and all of that, and pay for the publishing and some of the artwork. But the writing for the vast majority of the book is these excellent Lutheran pastors who contributed, and I'm so appreciative for all of their work and for everyone who has purchased the book in the past. If you would like to get a copy and read along with the episodes that are devoted to this book, to the chapters in this book, please check it out, armedlutheran.us/books. In the future, we're going to be doing some more episodes because there are a handful of pastors that have contributed to the book whose works I have not featured on the show, so I do want to do some more of those. Those are coming. Now, speaking of books, this is something of an update that I did want to get out, and I didn't want to just write a message and post it on social media. I wanted to discuss it here and give you some insight into what's going on. I have a series of books that I have begun called the 10 Commands series. It actually started out as a single book called The Fifth Command, a story of a bard, a cleric, an elf, and a dwarf, and you can they're loosely based on your favorite podcast hosts and contributors. It is the story of mainly of those four characters and their quest to save a city under siege. It is a story about the fifth commandment and the duty to serve and love and protect your neighbor. And it is it was intended for youth mainly, ages 12 and up. Although I've had a few folks tell me that they read it to younger kids and they enjoyed it thoroughly. Do not get my Executioner's Tale book and read it to your kids. I will say that it is not intended for kids, but these are. And I originally wrote this as a one-off and then decided to write a sequel that was called Forsaking All Others, which is focusing, of course, on the sixth commandment and marriage, following the same group of characters. And again, had not considered it, really not even thought about doing another book. And now I've got another one in the works. And this is tentatively entitled The Best Construction, which is based on focused mainly on the eighth commandment, and your the command not to slander or to give false testimony against your neighbor, the importance of reputation and how God protects that. And again, featuring the same cast of characters. This was originally scheduled to be released January of this year, but there's a bit of a blessing in that it wasn't. And let me explain. A lot of stuff happened at the end of last year and early this year, but but at the end of last year, we moved to a new home, and everything got put on hold a little bit. Things went crazy. A lot of stuff going on with work at the same time. And so I had time away from writing, dealing with a bunch of stuff personally. And then when I got back to it in January, then more and more stuff piled in. Of course, early in the spring is what I have referred to as the silly season for volleyball. My daughter plays club volleyball, so there's lots of tournaments and practice and all kinds of stuff. And throw into that a funeral for a beloved family member back in North Carolina, and trip to Atlanta for volleyball and all kinds of craziness. And so getting the book released, this third book released, has been a slow process. Fortunately, all the time that I was forced to take away from the book in December or at the end of last year with our move and all the work and all of that stuff and the family issues, I've looked at this book with a fresh set of eyes. I honestly thought this time last year, probably, maybe July, August of last year, I honestly thought that this book was almost ready for, final editing. Then it would be ready to go in January. Oh, how wrong I was. As I went back through to do some final editing, I discovered massive, truckload-sized plot holes in my story. I was like, wait a minute, that doesn't make sense. And as I wrote, I came up with, I convinced myself that there might be a better way to tell this story. And I drove that story into different dead ends, basically. And then after writing or rewriting large parts of the story, would find myself in a dead end and think, no, this is not better. I need to go back to what I had before and try again. And I've done that about 3 times. And I this is the most embarrassing part. I went back and just to reference, to look back at what I had written in the previous book, just to make sure I had my story straight. Well, I didn't. And I found something in the epilogue at the end of the second book that I completely contradicted in my story in the third. And so I had to go back and rewrite that. So I'm going back through this book with a fresh set of eyes, and I am cleaning things up and doing less exposition and adding more detail and dialogue. And I feel like at this point, I'm halfway through that process, that this is going to be a much better book than I ever expected, than it would have been if I had simply done the final edit and sent this out in January. So the reason I bring this up is because there are a number of you who have pre-ordered this book, and some of you, as a part of that pre-order, have been guaranteed a character spot or to be a character in the book. That's still going to happen. If you want your money back, I can understand it because it's taken forever for this to get done. But bear with me because it's going to be good, and I think you will enjoy it, and it will be so much better for the delays that have happened so far. The book is tentatively entitled The Best Construction. Again, this is a series of books that I've called the 10 Commands series, where each book is focused on one of the 10 commandments. It is a fantasy series. It is a series of fantasy stories. It's set in a fictional place, a fantasy world of elves and dwarves and magic, although there's not a whole lot of magic. But think a medieval fantasy setting, and the main characters are, again, as I said, a bard, a cleric, a jolly cleric, and an elf, and a dwarf. And this one focuses on reputation, the eighth commandment. And in this case, just to give you a brief plot synopsis, a character from the second book, one of the main protagonists from the second book, ends up being murdered in the third, and suspicion falls on one of the main characters, and it is up to all of the related characters and the friends of that main character, trying not to divulge way too much of this. It is up to all of them to try to solve the mystery and to clear this person's name, who has been maligned in such a way that suspicion has fallen upon this character. So, it is going to be a fun book. I've really enjoyed going back through it and rejiggering some of the stuff and really diving deep into it to make sure that the story jives with the story from the previous books. There have been a couple of times where I wrote things about the characters in this book and then thought about it and was like, wait, that doesn't seem right. And then went back and found where my new writing had contradicted something I wrote before. So there's a lot of time being spent to getting this story right and to presenting the characters in a way that's faithful to the other books, and to avoid obvious plot holes and the kinds of silliness that I discovered where things just didn't quite make sense. And I poked holes in my own story, all for the betterment of the story, though. Trust me, you're going to enjoy it. It's a fun series. You can grab the books online. Again, you can get signed copies of the first two books. You can get signed copies of, it's still possible if you wanted to pre-order the full series. I will send you the first two books and then sign the third one when it comes out, which again, I'm about halfway through editing. Although I'm out of characters to offer you as a perk for pre-ordering. So there's a handful of people who have pre-ordered you're going to find in the book. The names have slightly been changed to protect the innocent, but I'll leave it to all of you to figure out who they are when the time comes and the book comes out. So again, that is the third book in my 10 Commands series. It is going to be called The Best Construction. Again, you can pre-order it on the website, armedlutheran.us/books. All of the books are available. The first two are available at Amazon. They're also available for digital download. You can buy the bundle of the books as a digital download. You can get all three of the books. The first two will ship now, and the other two, or the new one, will ship when it is complete, all of which will be signed, and all of that is available at the Armed Lutheran shop. That is a long-winded explanation for how to get all this stuff. Just go to armedlutheran.us/books and check it all out. I'm sure you will enjoy it. At least I hope you will. And thank you to everyone who has pre-ordered to this point. To those who have purchased and enjoyed the first two books, I really do appreciate it, and I hope you like this one. I just wanted to take a minute here. I know this is a little bit different from our usual fare, but I did want to take a moment to kind of share with you where things were going with the new book and what was coming up in the near future for Armed Lutheran Radio. To that end, be sure to check this space and watch social media for announcements about the July online hangout if you are a member of the Reformation Gun Club, or if you would like to become a member or need to renew your membership, please do, and come join us for the July hangout. Thank you all for your time today, and thank you for your patience for those of you who have purchased the book. pre-ordered the book and are waiting patiently for it. I do appreciate it. Until we get together again next week, or maybe later this week for episode 452, keep shooting, keep praying. We'll talk to you next time.
For show notes, be sure to visit our website at www.armedlutheran.us. Check out the Facebook page, The Armed Lutheran, or join our Facebook group, Fans of Armed Lutheran Radio. If you like what you hear, please leave us a comment on our feedback page at armedlutheran.us/feedback, or a review on iTunes, and let us know what you think. Thank you for listening to Armed Lutheran Radio.